We here. We are live. This is it. Yeah. So you guys see this is a really cool character. He's from Mixamo and I have found him recently today. Actually, I think it was yesterday I found him. And I was like, "Wow, yo, they got the goat. The goat. I'm going to call him the goat. Dagoat. Because there's a lot of debate about who's the goat about this and the goat about that and who's who, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of who's who stuff going on out here in this world today. This is one of my animations I've done with the goat, and I've been playing around with the hands. As you can see, that thumbnail had the hands of the goat. So the whole theme surrounding this this live stream that I'm creating. I guess this is a live stream. Yeah, it is a live stream. Okay, so the whole theme around it is the hands and what can you do. Let's see what we can do with the hands. I played around and really had fun with this thing. Let me show you real quick what I got. This is a result. Oh, by the way, I'm your host, Mike Pugh of the Virtual Intel channel. Let's see if we live actually. I'm just gonna double check, see if this thing is live running. Yes, it's live, and that is awesome. I am glad to be live again. I haven't done this in almost a month, so I decided let's throw up these hands and put them on there for show. Let's see what we got. So here goes the animation. This is just playing around, having fun. You can see my little character I got down in the right corner, right? I'm just using him as a, I don't know, whatever, some sort of a friendly avatar or whatever, so y'all folks can see something besides just hearing my voice while we're doing this live stream. And it's kind of late, but that's my style. I like doing things late at night because it's easier to get it taken care of, get it done without having much disturbances. So here we go. We're on Blender. And by the way, we're doing animations, hand animations, for those who may be tuning in. I don't know who's tuning in or whatever the case may be. And we're using, our go-to tool is Mixamo. So let's go over there real quick. This is Mixamo.com. What I do notice is that not many people use Mixamo for the hand animations that it actually has. So that's why I decided to create this series to tackle that, so y'all folks can, you know, see some hand animations, get to see how you can manipulate the hand animations. So let me give you an example here in this jumping scene where this character, the goat, his real name isn't the goat. It's I'll look up another one just to see his name. I think his name is Brady. Yeah, Brady. But I call him the goat, whatever. So let's see if we can scrub this a little bit and go back so you can see what his hands is doing. Now his hands look flat. So this is basically where most people's animations will be at without having any kind of hand or finger animations. So most characters online and offline or whatever, if you create a 3D model, they're going to be in a T-pose and not really have much animation built into it. So what you would have to do is maybe finger / hand animate them. You would have to animate them by hand, I should say, using your mouse, or you can use a motion capture suit. So if you don't have a motion capture suit, then you're gonna have some issues with getting it to animate, and it may take some time. So some people may not want to do all that animation. As you see, the angle of the hand bent a little bit. Let's move it back a little. and you can see the finger motion moving. So this is all motion capture. That means that someone performed this and it was actually stored, the data was stored and transferred to these characters that you see on Mixamo. That's the beauty of having Mixamo as a tool, because it already has motion capture files built into it. They already are stored for you, and it's not much that you have to do. So this was a good kind of animation for a jump animation and landing with the hands coming down towards the floor. So let's look at this one here, the praying hands animation. It's still, again, like I said, the hands are kind of flat. See that? So the fingers are not really animated too much. So that one works. That's pretty cool. Now, if you go and you keep looking through Mixamo, you'll start to notice that some of the hands do indeed have a change in its motion. As you see, the fingers are animating in here. So this particular one is standing torch lit torch animation. So where did I get that from? Let's see. So standing torch animation, pretty much. So you can see the hands transition. Let's see, around here. Let's see, right there. You see the fingers kind of like go in and out and cycle in and out, doing an open close kind of thing. So open hand, and then it goes up, and then somewhat almost like towards a fist. So you can basically extract these hand motions if you really wanted to, and finger gestures. And it's not hard to animate it on, say, a 3D software tool like Blender, but it's very time consuming, and like I said, most people will not want to go through all that to get it exactly perfectly animated at every second or every minute. How would you say? Yeah, it would be every second, because keyframes will be moving in the seconds on a place like Blender. So when you're using the timeline, this is Blender's timeline. Pretty sure by now you know about the timeline if you've been watching my videos. But when you have keyframes built in there, let's go in real quick to pose mode and bring up some keyframes. Here goes all the keyframes. So these keyframes, basically from whatever point, say from 1 to like 300, this is all broken down into seconds. You can't directly tell how many seconds it will take to go from the first keyframe all the way to the 300th one, but you can probably use a stopwatch or whatever. I'm pretty sure you could if you had one available, maybe on your phone or something, and you can time it and see how long it takes for it to reach. But another thing you can do, you can go to the format area on your output properties, and you can go and change your frame rate and basically increase it or decrease it to whatever scale that you want it to function as, in terms of how many frames per second your playhead is going to move, and that will determine whether or not the animation is going to be moving faster or slower. So at 30 frames per second, that's pretty much moderate. That's like an average setting. So most default like videos are set at 30 frames per second by default, in terms of like, say, your video capturing off of your phone or a video camera. If you going up higher in scale, like to 50 frames per second, that's going to be something moving very fast. 60 frames per second or beyond, that's way fast. It's like zooming. So depends on where you want to put your frames per second at, but pretty much when you move, As you can see through, I'm moving the playhead. Whatever motion you have programmed into it, it will basically do its motion that you prescribe for it to do. So what I'm gonna do, I'll go to like a blank area so I can bring in those hand gestures that I showed y'all folks. So around here towards the tail end of these keyframes, I don't have much built into this. So what I'll do is, let's see, we'll go to File, Import FBX, and I'll go and try to find that animation that I talked about. I think I downloaded it already, and if I didn't, then I'm gonna have to, no, I didn't download it, so I'm gonna download it from Mixamo. So we'll go over here to Mixamo and just click on download, and then the orange download button. So once I download this, and keep in mind these files are pretty large, so make sure you have some space on your hard drive. Let's go. We're gonna save it, and we'll pop out of there and then pop back in. I think it's this one. No, it's Mixamo, my bad. All right, and standing torch, there we go. And we're gonna go and make sure that we have the automatic bone orientation set for this import, because we want the bones to be set up a certain way. Click import FBX, and that should send it to the origin, which is right here. Okay, so we already know what the animation looks like, so we're not gonna review it. We're just gonna go to pose mode, and then we're going to extract the hands. What we're gonna do is make sure we go to the armature setting, or object data properties for armature, and then go in front. So basically bring the armature in front so we can isolate. We're gonna full isolate the hands, and let's go out, and we're going to highlight both bones. Hold on one second. There we go. You can highlight multiple bones at the same time and then go to pose mode, so you can quickly transfer, say you wanted to transfer keyframes from one body to the other body, things like that. You can do it very fast. So I'm thinking I should grab the arm. Yeah, so I'm gonna, well, first I'll just do the hands so you can see what I'm talking about in terms of full isolation. So let me just highlight the hands, or one single hand. So this would be the left hand. It looks like the right hand, but it's, you would do like a mirror opposite the character, because we're looking at the character. We're not in the actual field of view of the character itself. We're actually not in the scene, so we're looking at them. So this is the left hand. As you can see, this is the character's back. Show you real quick, and that's his left hand. See, so all right. So since we're facing the character, we have to reverse the position. So there we go. We got the hand. So what we're gonna do is extract the keyframes. So we go all the way to the beginning of the timeline, and we're going to make sure these are highlighted, because for this hand here, for that animation, it starts at the 0 keyframe to 120. So it's 120 keyframes built in to that motion capture data for the hands and fingers. And then what we're gonna do is go to the other one, which is the one that I wanna actually zoom up on. So what we're gonna do is go to View, Frame Selected, and then pull out, and then highlight that one. And then we have to go to around 6 something over here. So we'll go like around 650. and then right click and paste. Now the only way that this works is if it's the same exact armature. It has to be the same identical armature from Mixamo. So this character is an actual Mixamo character. So everything is identical. So I'm not gonna have any problems with the motion capture file having issues with the armature not detecting it properly. So if you're trying to copy keyframes from another armature from a different 3D model, it may not work. So when you try to copy and paste, you won't get the same effect. So let me just hit the play button so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the second character, the one that I have already. Hold on one second. Let's put the keyframes there. Hit the play. Oh, the reason why it's not playing is because I have it ending at 650, so I have to change the endpoint to about what is that, 770. So 770. Hit enter. That's the end of the timeline now, and we'll go back to around 650 and then hit the play button. So you'll see that the hand is gonna go in and animate. And let's remove the bones. Not really remove the bones, but you'll get to see what it's doing. Yeah, so this is the whole purpose of creating the live stream, so y'all folks can see this type of isolation. Creating these isolations using Mixamo is pretty powerful because you can go in and isolate any joints, any bones, pretty much any part of the armature that has been already animated, and you can go in and then animate how you see fit. Alright, so we're going to take and extract the bones on this hand here, which is his right hand. Let's go back with the highlight, and eventually I'll go grab the arm bones, but for now I'm just focused on the hands and fingers. So we will go back again, zoom in, extract these keyframes by hitting copy, and then zoom in on this character, and then bam, highlight his, zoom out, and place these right here around 650, right click and paste, and let's hit the play again and we'll see what we got going. As you can see, both hands are animating. Pretty cool. See, so it's pretty good. I mean, you can do some amazing stuff, and basically just copy and paste. So you copy and pasting keyframes, which will allow you to extend the usage of one mocap as opposed to another. So you're doing more. You're actually creating more out of what the original mocap file gave you. So I actually went and I remixed all of this character. So I'm creating how I want him to move by using bits and pieces of multiple differing mocaps. So as you can see, he's going in and animating based on how I want him to move. And then the hands go in and do his thing. The arms are not moving, obviously, you see that? So I got to go back and I'm going to extract the arms. So I mean, obviously the hands are nothing in terms of animation without the arms. So if you already got arm motion and all that stuff, all you'll need is just some sort of hand motions that you want that will fit your animation, basically. So let's go. We will go in and put these bones back, highlight the arms, just the two left arms, and then go back and extract, copy, and then highlight this, guys. I don't even have to zoom in on this because the arms are easy to highlight. So there we go, and then we'll move it over to 650. Fairly simple to do this. Right click and paste. So now we'll go from this, let's see, scroll that down and hit the play button. So now you'll see what his hand gestures. Pretty cool. Now, I don't have any head motion, so it's like basically blocking out certain animation segments, very similar to doing block out. For people who already know how to do animations, if you're an animator, it's very similar to that part of animation where you can block out certain body parts and move certain body parts in one way or the other way, or there's different things that you can do. Let's see. So I'm going to use his head motion as well towards the end, and you'll see how it fits. It's really going to fit well and neat, I think. So I just got to grab this guy's arms and hold on one second. So these two arms there. I learned a little bit about animation over the time I've been playing around on Blender. It's not much, but it's enough to be able to pull off some cool stuff. Okay, so we're at 650, paste, and there we go. So let's see what the arm does now. Interesting. Alright, so what we're gonna do is go grab his head motion, and before that we're gonna save. So we'll save because I want to make sure that the file isn't gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna use his spine, like the last spine bone, which is spine 2, as well as part of the head, and highlight these bones here. So this spine 2, his head bone, and the top one. I don't know what this one is. I guess head, top, end. So we'll highlight all of those. And let's grab that. Copy. And then we'll do this one here. Oops. I kind of got the collarbone by mistake. There we go. And we'll zoom back out. And we'll put a little delay, so we'll do it around 52. Hit the paste, and now you'll see what I'm talking about. And you'll probably like the end product, I'm not sure, but let's hit the play. So now it's moving much more in a realistic type of way. It's swaying realistically, making its hand motions and gestures, its head gestures, things like that. So there you go. So I just basically stole the animations from this character model and put it onto this one. Even though they're identical, that's the way you would work it with Mixamo. So you can keep basically animating, grabbing animations and putting it and mixing it, remixing it into one character and creating a full-fledged motion. Like you can make tons of different things and combine them in different formats. So how you get to actually make something that makes sense, you have to go, let's go to Mixamo real quick. So what you would do is like look at multiple motion capture files, right? So you just keep looking at all these. These are all files, by the way, folks. So you'll look at a bunch of them. You just look and see what the motion does, and out of what you just saw there, what would you want the character to do? At what point would you want to take from the animation? So say if this is the only thing that you wanted, like say at this point in time, when you get to Blender, or if it's Maya or wherever you're at, I don't know how to animate on Maya because I never used Maya, but I would assume it's very similar to Blender when it comes to animation. But basically what you would do is freeze frame this once you get it on Blender. So whatever keyframe it is at this point, you can capture that, and basically you would omit all the rest of the keyframes. So the beginning keyframes, don't worry about it. So the rest of the keyframes that you have left over from this point to the end, you would basically copy it and then merge it onto the other character. But you obviously would have to have something that led up to it. So maybe like at this point, so you have the character stand like that and then do the kick, something like that. So it doesn't have to be the full capiero move. This is capiero, so it doesn't have to be the full capiero move. It could be like the character just set up like that. Boom. So good example, I'll just take it, download it, extract that point, but it would have to make sense with the other part of what I was actually building. So let's just try it. Let's see what we could do. We'll just play with this, and keep in mind I don't want to keep doing this infinitely or for like hundreds and hundreds of downloads, because what that's going to do is going to bog down my computer, and I'm going to end up having computer crashes because I only got like 100 gigs left on my computer, because my computer has tons of files, video files, all kinds of stuff. So let's go back to the goat collection I got going over here. Hold on one second. So we're gonna delete this guy. I'm gonna go back to object mode, select him. Well, hold on, we're gonna isolate him, but he has some lights around him, so we got to keep in mind that the lights are there, and we just want to delete him because we don't need him. We don't need him no more. So we're gonna go to file. That's the one that I extracted from. We're gonna go to FBX, and we're gonna look for Capiero. So that's Chapa whatever, Giratoria, something like that. I'm gonna import it. Here it is. So we will figure out at what point we want to extract. So hold on one second. So we will zoom in to a certain point in the keyframes, right around there. Okay, so we will get the character to pull off that kind of stunt. It's around 52. So how you do that, you go in, let's go to pose mode, and we will make sure all the bones are selected. So it looks like all the bones are selected. I may have to slowly transition the legs so it doesn't leap into this position. So we will just highlight all the way up to 52. See, the rest will no longer be highlighted once you drag the mouse across. We're going to right click, copy, and then we're going to bring this character's motion into him. So both of them wasn't selected, by the way, so what we can do is select the other one by using the shift key, and then go back to pose mode, and now we can do it. So we will select his bones as well. So we'll highlight all of his bones, and then we will drag around here And at this point, we will insert over the keyframes. So we will hit paste. Now the problem is that the hip bone is not in a good position. We're going to undo it. So that means that the hip bone is being projected over. So let's move it down a little bit, paste it, and see if we can correct that hip bone position. So, because we want him to go here, we don't want him to be drifting. As you can see, it's drifting all the way out. We don't want that. That's not what we're looking for. Reason being, I'll tell you why that happened. Because the previous position to where the hip bone is at, let's go edit, undo, edit, undo. We're gonna just isolate the hip bone itself, because the hip bone is responsible for its motion. Basically, it's gonna move around. So the previous hip bone position is, or the last hip bone position is at the 130th keyframe. How you can tell, you select and isolate the hip bone, see it's highlighted, then you go and see where the keyframes or the last keyframe for it is. So at 130, so you highlight that one by left clicking it, and then what you would do is go all the way to where you want to drop the next keyframe. So what I would recommend is to put it like around 740, somewhere around there, and you can do right click and paste, and that wasn't good. Hold on, edit, undo. So what I did wrong, I don't know what I did wrong, to tell you the truth. Oh, I didn't copy it, I guess. So right click, copy, and then over here, right click, paste. There we go. So now what it's doing is everything in between, you see this orange line that's highlighted, everything in between basically is suggesting that there's nothing that's going to change for this hip bone until the very next keyframe. So this is basically all taken up. So there's nothing that's in between. There's no keyframe changes. So that bone in that joint will stay in its place from the 130th keyframe all the way to the 740th keyframe. So whatever I put in the future, it will start around 740. So now let's go back to this character and all his bones. Let's highlight all his bones again, and we'll go back, right click and copy, and then we'll highlight this character, and we'll start, since 740 is where the change occurred, we'll start around 750. So right click and paste, and you'll see there's a big transition from here to here. So that transition exists because the leg made a drastic change in positioning. Okay. But again, we still having issues. Oh, okay, I know why that's having issues too. So all of that is not just the hip. The hip is good. It's just a jump. It's gonna jump real quick. What the problem is now is the legs. So what we can do, go back over here and just highlight the legs, right, and find where that last keyframe is, which is over here. See, there's a big gap. So we'll select that last keyframe, use Control C, or we can right click and copy, and then we'll bring it all the way to 740 and Control V. There we go. So now the legs are corrected. See, so that's where the legs were supposed to be, but this time it's going to be a jump. Oh, it's not that bad actually. So the transition from here to here, that's a big move, to tell you the truth. So what we want to do is what we can do is go into the graph editor and fix the position of the hip bone to pretty much reduce the amount of sideways motion. So what we'll do is go over here and actually let's throw up the graph editor. So we'll scroll this down a little bit, pull up another timeline, and then go into the graph editor. Then pull this up and try to figure out what's responsible for that motion inside the graph editor. So how we do that, we have to go in and open up all of these locations. So it's one of the locations that's gonna basically change the position. So we going from here to this transition. You see it's transitioning, a huge transition. Actually, it's not too bad, to tell you the truth. Let's see. Let's play that. I actually like the transition. Alright, so we're gonna get rid of this guy because we don't need him no more. Let's go back to object mode just to clear out the space. We'll delete him. Alright, so now we just got him to work with. We're gonna go back to pose mode, but I do want to clean up the motion to some degree. So okay, so it's all the way up there. He does the back step, then he does the stepping transition. That's interesting. So what I could do, hold on one second, I can change the transition to a much shorter gap in time. So let's try that. So to be much faster. So hit the play. Wow, that's pretty fast. Well, let's try it again. Do it a little slower. Let's bring it up to 800 on the timeline. Try that again. There we go. Alright, so that worked out. But again, like I said, I want to somewhat reduce that gap. I want to make that gap a little bit shorter. Or do I? Alright, what we're gonna do, we'll record the animation because it looks like it turned out to be something really unique. Alright, so we're gonna record this. We're not gonna record it close up, by the way. And I have everything configured for my recording already. So we're gonna record from the, let's see, render. No, we'll record from the viewport. So viewport, render, animation. There we go. So pretty much what it's doing is sending it to a file location I have on my computer, and it's taking all of the animation data and tying it all together into one. So it's making it one unique animation. So I have a bunch of motion capture file segments all built into one through keyframes. So I copy tons of keyframes from multiple motion capture files on Mixamo. So as you see, the hands is moving around, just playing around. And that's the hands animation part. I was just trying to, mess around with the animation, but it's going to be faster than this. This is just it rendering through Eevee. So Eevee render. Another thing I could do, I can go in and I can actually zoom in if I wanted to. Hold on. Oh, it's not letting me zoom in. Oh, because this is the other screen. Here we go. So I can zoom in. This shows up in my animation, by the way. So this is a little close up. Let's move this over. See what it looks like. And we'll zoom this out. This shows up in my animation. We'll rotate. All this shows up in my animation. Boom. Alright, so that's that, and the animation is complete. So let's go and check and see where this animation shows up. Now, I definitely have some kind of crazy bots. You see all this nut stuff that shows up every time I do a live stream. I have all this crazy stuff that shows up on the side of my live stream, and I haven't even done a live stream in almost a month. So why do I keep getting this stuff? And then I noticed that on YouTube, for some reason, I don't get hardly any views. So I think somebody has hacked my YouTube channel or something. Not 100%, but they've done something to mess up my YouTube performance. I swear there's something going on behind the scenes that makes these bots show up on my YouTube live. Like, what's going on with that? I don't get it. Alright, so I didn't want that to come up. What I was trying to do is show y'all folks. Sorry about that rant, but I had to get that off my chest, because that's annoying. I keep getting them stupid bots. Like, what the hell is that? Alright, so this is it here. We're gonna right click, open with, and go to media player. And here we go. So this is the animation. See, so my zooms come in, all my zooms in, zoom ins, and all that stuff, my rotations, and there he goes. He does his little kick. So, I mean, I can do a lot of stuff with this. I can basically animate it how I want and create exactly what I want it to look like using Mixamo doing this. So, some people don't know this because they don't take the time to figure out how to puzzle things together, or what makes what happen when it comes to keyframes. So if you don't understand the timeline on Blender, you don't understand how to manipulate the timeline, in terms of keyframe references each individual keyframe, then it's going to be really hard for you to figure out where to place things and where to combine things and how to join them. So it may not work for you, but it takes time to figure this stuff out. Like, it took me about 3 years to really get the gist of how keyframes worked on Blender, and then took a lot of time over time to start to puzzle other things together. So with that being said, you can pretty much build up to anything using any kind of tool, but it takes time. It's not something that's going to happen right away. It's not automatic. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen overnight for sure. Some people, they get better than other people. You know, some people are better at certain tools than others in terms of what they're able to pull off and what kind of quality they can come up with, things like that. There's definitely some goats out here, the greatest of all time, 3D modelers, 3D animators, 3D, etc. All of the 3D stuff you can imagine. There's a lot of people out here that do these things and been doing it for at least 10, 20 years or more. So the more experience you have, most definitely will make a difference in a day, obviously. So, yep, this character is definitely getting more and more animated. So what I would do, say, if I wanted to make something look a little bit more enhanced in terms of this, I would add some background to it. So that's not what the purpose of this live stream is. It's more just to get y'all to see that when you get hands animated, things look a little bit better. And you can use Mixamo to get the hands animated by just searching for multiple animations and just trying to find what you can get out of the different scraps that you can pull up. Like this over here, this is some boxing. See the hands, they in a boxing position. So it may not work out for you on that. If you wanted to get open hands, transition over to something else. But you have to just keep looking for different things. Let's see the playing of drums. Let's see. So with the drum animation, this is pretty cool. It's hands moving very fast. If you want that kind of thing, you can do that. You just got to keep searching, which takes time, obviously. So it's going to take a lot of patience to find exactly what you want. But you can do it. You can find it. You can make it exactly the way that you want it to look like. Let's see this one. Look at this. This is more like an idle animation with the guy holding the gun. This is like a holding the gun idle type of thing. What else we got over here? They got all kinds of different things. Hip hop dancing. Look, you got the hands moving like that, doing some wild swaying motion. Let's see this one. Here goes the fingers doing a different finger sway. You can get that if you wanted to. Plug it into your character. You can do all kinds of different stuff. Let's see, talking on the phone. Let's see how the talking on the phone works. Pretty cool. The thing with this one is more like a female talking on the phone. So they probably don't have a male talking on the phone. So if you don't want the male stance, you can just use the hands for the talking on the phone part, and then modify it how you see fit. Because a lot of the body pose and stances is female. I don't know if they have a male on the phone, but I don't think so. So the pink, see how this is a pink, and then they got a blue character. The pink one is for the females. So yeah. So we could grab this if we wanted to. And again, we can throw it in there. Just place it in a place in your character's timeline that makes sense. If you do it and it doesn't make any sense, then it's not gonna suit any purpose. Like, why would I have the character having his hands move like he's on the phone when the character's doing the leg kicks and all of that stuff? That doesn't make sense. Plus, people are gonna focus on the leg kick when they see the animation. They're not gonna focus on the hands too much, unless you're doing some sort of a fighting move combination with the hands and the feet. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think of it like that. Now I'm thinking of doing those kind of combinations because fighting is something that's really good in terms of action, in terms of when you're having character animation. So a lot of fight scenes you can create using, you know, different motion of the hands and the legs and the body, upper body or lower body, whatever segment of the character you're trying to animate. So you can do a lot, like I said, but you have to basically be creative enough to really focus on certain details, and then you take those details and you make them sensible to an actual real world scene, and kind of like make a collage and collection of differing moves, and then you tie them in together and you phase them in. Another thing with when you're doing, I believe, the recordings, when you're trying to record, you probably don't want everything to be one straight segment. So you want to do clips. So if you look at music videos, or if you look at a film in general, you can learn from a film and how the director films the stuff. They basically chop it down into multiple segments. So they do clips, clip by clip by clip. So there'll be film clips. And that's where the whole frame thing comes in. And animation basically is a whole bunch of frames. So that's kind of similar to how you would have a film strip and you have multiple segments of the film broken down to develop a storyboard or something like that. So if you don't know how to jump from learning the animation of your character to like a storyboard, then it's kind of hard for you to build something that's sensible. So I think that's where a lot of people kind of have a issue with, even me included. Since I'm a student of animation, I'm learning how to animate characters using multiple different techniques. The problem is, how do I develop a story? So what you would have to do is actually become a storyboard artist. So you would sketch the concept of what the character would be meant to do in the film or in the actual recorded segments of all the video clips that you are providing, and you also are mustering up and you're creating. So you would actually have to have a beginning, a body, and an end. So you have to, each film segment would have to make sense in terms of building up what you're trying to get the character to do, you know, in a storyline. So when you build up storyboard type storyline concepts, then all your animations will start to fall into place. But before that, if you don't have any start and any middle ground or any end point, no kind of a plot or theme to what the character should be doing, then obviously you're just going to have a lot of discombobulated motions and things that don't make any sense to the human sense. Because humans will sense a scene and they'll look at certain things and pick up from what the I guess the content creator was trying to detail, or the production team, producer of the film, things like that. Like a walk scene, for example. Guy's gonna walk down the street or walk down a certain area in a house, or it could be in a building. It could be, you know, in space, have a space suit. He lands from a spacecraft onto a space station, walking around, running around, you know, things like that. You have to build these themes because these are human sensible themes that other humans can sense. Obviously, you can create fun stuff and crazy stuff and wild, out of control, zany stuff like how cartoons would demonstrate, and basically build up for you in your mind. But obviously, that's not going to be the same. It's going to be a little different. Now, what is this over here? This is interesting. I have something over here. Hold on one second. What is that? I don't know what that is. Looks like a body part. Must be a character's hair or something. That's weird. Oh, because we're in pose mode. Yeah, that's a character's hair. Okay. That was wild. Alright, yeah, so basically you got to build the story behind everything that you do, or else none of the animation stuff will make sense, and then whoever's viewing it, they just gonna look at it and say, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Actually, let me just get rid of this crap over here first. So all of this spammy crap I want to get rid of. Give me a second. I apologize. Am I able to get rid of it? No, it's not allowing me to get rid of it. I don't know why, but we will get rid of it through my live stream. I have my smartphone. I have the live stream open in my smartphone, so I'm getting rid of all of that spam right now. Alright, so most of the spam is gone that quick. I'm gonna report this. I don't know why I keep getting this stuff, man. YouTube needs to clean itself up with this crap. Seriously. Gonna keep removing all of this. Look at this thing, man. Report. Alright, so all this crap is going away. I apologize, folks, for having this delay in my live stream, but yo, I got tons of spam that just showed up out of nowhere, and that's pissing me off. So I shouldn't have to deal with this. No one should have to deal with that. Seriously. I mean, nonsense, total nonsense. So whoever's doing that, y'all need to stop. It's not doing anything but disturbing my flow of communications, and I'm not able to communicate exactly how I want to communicate on my live stream because of this. Just want to get rid of it. Alright, so let's see what it shows now. All deleted. Everything's deleted except one of them. Remove. Alright, there we go. Garbage. You're done. Alright, so other than that, I think I'm going to end this live stream here. I just wanted to have some fun playing around just to show y'all folks some of the stuff that I've been able to do. There's much more than meets the eye. I can do more with it, obviously. I guess I'll do one more part with the phone. We'll download this and we'll do what I said doesn't make sense. Like, let's do a nonsensical animation just for shits and giggles, just to see, you know, what I can pull off. So we're gonna extract the hand motion and everything, and then put it with the kick. We'll apply it to the kick, which will be crazy. By the way, folks. So just keep in mind, this character is gonna do some crazy stuff. We'll apply maybe around here. Actually, no, we're not gonna do it with the kick. We're gonna do it around here where he's twiddling his fingers a little bit too much. So around 53, that's what we'll do. So we'll go to File, Import, FBX, and then look for Talking on the Phone, Import. It comes over here. Alright, so we will highlight both of the bones like that, and shift select to get rid of the lamp. There we go. And then go to pose mode. Oh shoot, how is it? Hold on one second. There we go, pose mode. The reason why it didn't allow me to go to pose mode right away is because I selected the lamp by mistake. Alright, so we'll go in front. Oh, okay, so it's selected on this character for some reason. Hit all. There we go. Alright, so we'll just highlight this character's here. Not hair, but this character's bones and arm segment. Copy the pose, and then go on this one. And hold on, did I do that right? Hold on, nope, this is not it. We gotta pull up the timeline. Hold on one second. So this is a large animation. So the large scale animation. Okay. So we'll just go for just this segment here. Right click, copy, and start off here and paste. Oh shoot, what did I do? Edit, let's undo that. My bad. Alright, highlight this one and paste it. Okay. Okay. There we go. So this one's starting, where's it starting at? At 51. Okay. So the other one, hold on one second. I have to isolate this one. Bring the arm down a little bit. Right there. Okay. Isolate this one. And copy from here to here. Copy. And then go to the other one. and go to 51 and paste. Okay. So we'll hit the play. Let's see what it does. Oh wow. So it didn't actually do the same thing. It just, alright, I know why it did that. So what we're gonna do is delete everything here. So we'll delete that. Then we'll go back to 51 and paste. Let's see what it does here. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I know why. Cause it was just doing that. So hold on 1 second. Let's go back. I know what happened. I'm trying to get the phone hand type of thing. Alright, let's do that. There we go. So we're gonna go from here out to here. Something like that. Copy. And then do it again. Oops, I didn't get everything. Here we go. And then from 51 we will delete and then paste. There we go. So now it'll go up like it's holding the phone. And then start coming down. Okay. So now we'll highlight this guy, delete him. Oh, I gotta go to object mode, highlight him. Hold on, I don't want the lights. Well, highlight. Oop. This light has to move out of the way. There we go. Highlight most of him. Shift select. Got that. And delete. There we go. Alright. So now you'll see I got this guy doing a little different. Okay. Play. There we go. Hold on, let's back that up. And let's see exactly what he was doing. Hold on 1 second. Frame selected. Let's go back. Hold on 1 second. Back in the timeline. Oh, interesting. So he goes like he's holding a phone. Boom. And the other hand comes up. You see that? So this one comes up. Boom. Hand gestures like he's holding the phone, backing up. And then the fingers go back to the position that it was playing with. Like this. Yep. Interesting. Alright. And it comes down, keeps playing around, and now it's back to where it was before. So I don't have much head motion over here though. That's the one thing that I noticed. I didn't do too much head motion, which is not bad. So this is fast forward. Boom. Interesting. Alright, so we got it. That's pretty good. Now we can do one more take. Final take. Let's go back. And we will view, viewport render. There we go. Let's see what he does. Interesting. He goes in for the phone. It all looks pretty natural. Then he plays with the hands, doing some funny hand gestures. Somebody could do this, obviously. Looks like his hands are somewhat possessed or something. It's really weird. But let's zoom in a little bit. Zoom in a little bit on the hands. Okay. He looks over there. We're gonna zoom out because he's gonna do that wild run motion. Gonna zoom out. Not run, but it's like something over there he's targeting. So it looks like. Zooming out. Boom. Maybe he kicked somebody in the neck. Who knows? Alright. So that might not be too horrible, but we'll see what it turned out to look like. There's my zooms. Playing around with the hands. Turns around. Now I'm zooming out. And he goes to kick somebody in the neck. Now that part I'm gonna have to transition a little better. Obviously, if you want to do those kind of transitions, you can do that. It's not really hard. You go in and you set up the keyframes where you want the keyframe to transition. So let's say where he does the kick, and then we will reposition everything. Well, actually, somewhere over here. And then go in view and then go viewport render animation. Oh, you know what? That didn't work out. Sorry about that. Well, that's going to be the beginning keyframes. I forgot to change the start. So the start should be 713 and the end is over here. You usually have to change the start and the end in order to get the right timing down for, say you're trying to do like what I was saying with the video clips. If you want to do animations in the same way that you would produce a film and do like act 1 scene 2, this thing, whatever, you can actually use your characters in that format. I'll make a whole separate live stream for folks who want to learn how to do that kind of thing. But basically you use the start of the frame and the end frame. So if everything is built into one animation for your whole entire film project, it would be a start at 1 and then end at maybe 30,000 or something keyframes. That'd be crazy if you used to do it like that, but some people would do it like that. Other people would build multiple projects, so you would like have your first clip as project 1 or first scene, and then the second scene would be another project, and another scene would be another project, and then you just basically fuse the animations together into a video. You know, as you take all the video clips, you edit them all together into one big project. That'd be an idea to do it, but if you was to go crazy and build it all into one actual Blender project, which is nuts, if that's what you were to do, then the ending would matter, the start and the end frame. So what we're going to do is go view and viewport render animation, so it jumps in at that point, and that's where it's going to transition in. Boom. And kick the person. So what it's doing is actually going in and is, well, it won't work actually this way, to tell you the truth, because I have a video file segment that I'm rendering. So let me show you the render settings real quick. So my render settings is set up for FFmpeg video. So what I would have to do is take that video clip and edit it down in a video editor to tie in that segment. So you would have to use a video editor separate from Blender's rendering capabilities. So let's see. Yeah, so it has 713 to 800 keyframe. So I would have to basically fuse them together, and I would have to edit out that part and edit in this part. But if you wasn't doing it that way, and if you was doing it by using images, you can do it through images, and it'd be a lot easier if you did it by images. So if you did like PNG, and then you have every single keyframe as an actual individual frame, then you would do the start, say 1, and you would have to obviously have a folder for it. So I'm going to create a separate folder for that, call it a nim2. Enter, and then from that folder on my computer I'll build in images. So say this is the start. Actually, let's hit the back arrow. This is the start. We go viewport render animation, and it will start from this point, and then over time it will build up all of these images. So that's what it's doing now. I actually like it where it's at. This is a good position, to tell you the truth. The only thing that I would change is I'm just going to slide it back a little bit more so I can get that kick to stand out, which is over here. And then once it's done doing all of that stuff, that hand gesturing wildness or whatever it's doing, you'll see what I'm saying. It's going to go in and then eventually do the kick. Reason why it's going slower is probably because it's images that I'm creating. The video is pretty fast. Here it goes. Here goes the kick. Bam. Alright, so now that's done. So let me show you all the image files. Oh, I didn't change the designation of where to send it at. My fault. So it's all built into a NIM1. I should have changed it over here to a NIM2, which I made an error, but it's okay. So what I'll do is I'm gonna highlight most of these, and I'm just gonna copy it or cut it and bring it to a NIM2. We'll paste that there and go into a NIM1, cut, bring it into a NIM2, right click and paste it. Sometimes you gotta do all of this manual stuff because maybe you made an error or whatever. So we'll cut, right click and paste it, and then I got one more image. I can drag it, drop it in Mixamo, and then drop it in an M2. There we go. So now I got everything built into here. So these are all of my clips. And hold on, there's a video clip that should be erased, so we're gonna delete this one. We don't want that. Now you can take this and you can basically create another project on Blender. You can start a new project and then render it out as images. So those are just basically image clips. So frame by frame. So each individual frame is an image. Alright, so we're gonna go File, New, Video Editing, don't save, and use the video editor. You gotta add image sequence, and then go and find a NIM2 folder, and then select A on the keyboard to select all, and then change this to 7. How much is it? Let's see. I forgot. 7. Oh, it's no, that's 800. Let's see. I guess it's 800. Yeah. So we'll just select 800 hit enter. So the start frame and the end frame right there, and then add image, and that's it right there. So from that point we will select where to render it to, and nim2, accept, and we want FFmpeg video, which is the file format, and then render animation. So this time we're going to render the animation, and it will go in, and it'll go very fast because it's just rendering animation image clips that are already pre-designated. Oh, I forgot to change something. Sorry about that. So you have to change the start and end over here. So we're gonna start it at 251 since we already got the other ones, and we're gonna end it at 800. It should say 1 to 800 when you first start your render, but since I already have it built in, we'll start at 251 to 800. So by default, Blender has it set up from 0 to 250. So there we go. And then he goes in and does his little thing and the kick. Alright, good. So now we will check it out. This is it right here. 0 to 1, 250. No, that's not what we want. Let's do it again. What we want is from 1 to 800. I forgot, since we're doing the FMPEG video, it's going to come out as a video. So we got to do the whole thing over again. So render animation. And that's pretty much it. Nice. Hit the X and let's test it. So we'll delete this one and right click, open with media player. Here we go. Got the phone gesture. Sliding over a little bit to make space. That's not what you want to have in your film, obviously, but you know what I mean. This is just a test run just to see if the hands are working. Hands are working really great. Arms are swaying naturally. Yep. Everything is working pretty good. And that guy's kick is pretty fast. So I wouldn't mess with this goat. Nah, no way would I mess with this goat. The goat is no joke. So there you go. Hopefully y'all like that. And I am done. Joe, love and peace to all. Mike Pugh signing off. We'll get y'all folks on the rebound, catch you on the rebound on the next segment that I come up with for the hands and hands animation. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you can pick up from this and create stuff yourself using Mixamo, having fun with the animation on Blender. As you can see, I didn't do too much crazy stuff. A lot of it is pretty simple. I haven't had to rig a character, haven't had to do anything too complicated. All of this is just moving my mouse basically around from one point to the next and knowing how to navigate on Blender, knowing the options on Blender, things like that. But anybody can do what I'm doing right here. Doesn't even require animation skills. You just have to understand to some degree how Blender's tools are working in conjunction with some things that are required for animation. like the timeline. You need the timeline. That's really crucial, or else you'll never get any kind of animations to work out if you don't understand the Blender timeline. So that's something basic that you want to try to get down. But other than that, I'm out of here. See y'all folks in the next session, in the next. Peace.